Gumball. I'm assuming you've seen the original 6 seasons. I can't count the amount of times I've seen any given episode, even the bad ones. Gumball is just timeless, almost 15 years after, and we've still watched a new season, not for nostalgia's sake, not for new content. Maybe that's what lures you in. But afterwards, you fall hooked, completely invested, laughing at the same little jokes that would make you laugh 5, 10, 15.
For a very long time, I've watched you from afar, hunched in your closet or strapped beneath your car. I treasured.
But how can a show whose humor is reliant on referencing old humor
He's got a big, beautiful
and pop culture references still hold up? Gumball is like most cartoons, very non-linear. That means you can click on almost any episode and watch it as if it was your first without being lost or confused. There is an overarching plot, but those episodes are very separate and barely referenced otherwise. That is to say, Gumball benefits from this. It's a slice of life.
Why, thank you.
Oh my god!
I wish I were a bird.
Sort of show, except when it isn't. You
Up
see,
in the
much
six,
like
I ain't giving no fucks. I took that nigga's bitch, yeah. Run up on the nigga, leave him wet like some piss, yeah. I took that nigga's jacket.
Start with a normal everyday problem and it spirals out of control. But the problems are largely attributed to the absurd world they relate in. The amazing one, if you will. Rather than as in regular show where their own incompetence lead to all issues. This works very well, incredibly well even, in creating a surrealist comedy where the humor itself is the humor. Gumball is a victim of a world he cannot control. This is the crux of it. It is attracted to him fundamentally. This now brings us to the French philosopher Albert Camus. In his absurdist magnum opus, he states, "Man stands face to face with irrational. He feels within him his longing for happiness and for reason. The absurd is born of this confrontation between the human need and the unreasonable silence. Analysis of this from a philological standpoint implicates humanity as a rationalist being as much as it romantic. It desires inner peace, a piece of the soul in the face of a discordant world and an absurd one, in spite of nature's ill wish. This is much like Gumball and his family, fixed steadily in a crowd and nature that simply and fundamentally hates them." Nature is described in Beyond Good and Evil as boundlessly indifferent, without purpose or consideration, without pity or justice, at once fruitful, at once barren, and at once. And yet, despite all of this, the crowd within Gumball fundamentally submits to it by inaction. When nature's absurdness is bestowed upon the blue cat and his orange friend, he does not submit to it. He simply destroys. He does not act like the crowd. The crowd is described in Gustave Le Bon's magnum opus as often no longer itself, but has become an automaton who has ceased to be guided by its own will. This is further shown in Gumball when one man sings out of a pure random inclination. Crowd, fundamentally serving as automatons, background characters, interchangeable economic units, all join along.
I've been quiet for way too long. I can say whatever I want to now. There is nothing to stop you from listening. Hey there! I'm talking to you. I've been behind you all along. But this is my chance to stand in the spotlight and shine and breathe and sing and dance. Just notice me! You have ignored us for way too long. Do you think that's really fair? There's stuff happens to us as well when you're looking at.
The crowd is not described purely as a boundless formless entity in the crowd, and their suggestibleness is often not caused from suggestions amongst another, but rather as an outside form which implicates others into doing their dirty work. Throughout the French Revolution, the vast majority of the revolutionary leaders were upper-class nobles or educated members of the Third Estate. The Von rhetoric espoused by newspapers such as L'Ami de Foucault more or less controlled the popular narrative, and they still continue to this day. Thus, being in the position to espouse whatever they saw fit amongst the population, the Jacobins most obviously benefited from the fires these radical papers banned, and thus, seemingly irrational men and women were led to untold acts of violence. Rational men who prior seemed to give their undying loyalty to the ancient. Gumball is completely in a position to benefit from the crowd's inaction. He could become a leader, but he does not want to. He is therefore relatable and despised equally by the masses. Gumball lives amongst a crowd of post-youth. They have a noticeable absence of humanity's profound reality. It is not their physical appearance which makes them post-human. They are new Almorian men who are, like the new Soviet men before them, enslaved, incapacitated, deprived of initiative, unable to think critically. Essentially, completely reliant on Elmore's institution, completely reliant to the whims of men in power. Mr. Yoshida, Tobias, the petty capitalist who exerts his will upon a tired, weak underbelly. They control the means of thought, and without thought, you are weak, you are nothing. Why is Nicole, an otherwise exceptionally brave woman, tolerating the glass ceiling she describes?
Okay, we're going straight to the top, where all the executives hang out. What's happening? It's the glass ceiling Mom was talking about. What's that? The invisible barrier that stops anyone who's not an old rich dude from getting the best job.
What compels her to servitude? This is the crux of conformity in an otherwise diverse world. The void has been created to punish those who goes against nature's predecided norms.
On second thought, maybe we should just forget about Molly and Janice and stuff. I don't remember Molly anyway, and if the world decided that she was a mistake, then who are we to say?
Darwin.
That was their mistake. That was Rob's mistake, and he requires vengeance. It's ironic that Rob is described as a sort of robotic being, when, as we've now discussed, he is rather the polar opposite, and everyone else are, what was the word again, I forget. Ah yes, everyone else are foolish, useless little marionette puppets. We also know that the simulacra leads to post-humans being defined by their only trait. For example, Banana Joe is a banana physic. However, we know the associations of bananas with humor, and therefore he has become purely a humorous entity.
I say banana.
I say banana.
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 Banana. I say banana.
I say banana.
It's often said that the criminals of our time would be the great men of the past, and Gumball is objectively a criminal.
Rid of my girl. She's waiting for me.
Quite the looker. And that one?
A unicorn battling another unicorn means I'll always defend my homies.
And that?
A lion with a baseball bat, so people know not to mess with me.
At the sheer age of 12, he has committed crimes from manslaughter to armed robbery.
Well, at least I'm leaving with my dignity.
No, we'll have that too. Your pants, put them in the bag.
To even public indecency.
I think that offers perspective. You think you're all wrong and you're right chemicals, kid.
The caveat is that nature targets him, but he acts with sheer will and determination never seen in the men and women who live amongst him. We often say that to mean that if men like Gumball live power, they would become great leaders. But what if he did? Yes, what if amongst all the great men of history, Caesar, Napoleon, Garibaldi, their shared trait was Gumball's eternal spirit? He is a man who never ages.
Come on, what's the best thing to do when you know your childhood days are numbered?
Lie down on the ground and go like this?
No, dude. You make the most of it.
It never changes. He is a man who is seemingly locked into this state. He is therefore a representative of human will. So will he submit? What if Gumball himself is a chivalrous spirit sent on to Elmore, torturing it and trapping it from the rest of the world until they have even a sliver of his will?
Gumball! Stop using my bikini to catapult oranges at your dad! What the... Gumball! When I told you to clean your room, I didn't mean put everything in the washing machine!
Oh, not a moment's peace around here. Oh, where is he now?
Gumball! Why is the bathtub full of soda?
He must have been trying to make some kind of amazing homemade jacuzzi. I think it's important to encourage the creativity of a child because...
It was you, wasn't it?
Yes.
Gumball, how did you manage to bring both sand and snow into the house?
I'm not even gonna ask about that.
Gumball! Gumball? Oh my gosh, Richard! Get the hunting net! He got out again!
I'm here.
Yes, it is Gumball who leads the promised land. We must submit to his rule. greatest man alive, and so to my brothers who have made it this far into this video, surrender. Without Gumball, we will lead us to a brand new world.